fan. Maybe we can get his feedback as well. We're gonna bring in Dash from Big Dash Knows, big Giants fan here, right? Dash, how we doing today, man?
How's it going, man? Can you hear me? I'm coming through clear.
We hear you. Love the background.
Okay, perfect.
Love the Giants vibes. I mean, I'm sure you just heard a little bit of that. You got any feedback on your quarter season awards? Who would you put anywhere for like Coach of the Year, Offense, Defensive Player, or MVP? You got any certain name?
I, I definitely agree with Steichen. You said Steichen, Josh Allen for the
Yes,
MVP.
sir.
Who'd you have for rookie or offensive player? It was
Puka.
Puka.
Yeah.
And then who was defense?
Nick Bonito.
Yeah, I don't got no problems with that at
All
all.
right.
Nick Benito flying all over the place, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love that. Well, then let's crack into it. Let's
Yeah,
go into your Giants a little bit because Giants are obviously big in the news right now, right? So you got Dart coming in. That offense looks a bit revitalized. You lose Nabers, which man, that's tough. A lot of receivers going down lately. A lot of injuries
yeah.
in general, but that defense seems to be coming alive. So let's start. And this has been a topic of conversation I know with Giants fans. I work with one. I hear it all the time. Let's start with Brian Daboll. Where do you stand on Brian Daboll?
Oh man, last year I wanted them gone. Earlier this season, still wanted them gone. I think if Jaxson Dart plays well, I think he saves Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll's tied to the hip of Jaxson Dart. The main issue with that is we don't believe like all the quarterback whisperer stuff that we've been hearing from when he was at Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to work with Daniel Jones, he did get success in 2022 in the playoff run and Coach of the Year. But since then, everything else has been, on the downslide. So, for me personally, I'm going to let it ride this season
Okay.
to see what he does with Jaxson Dart. But if you would have asked me a couple months ago, I wanted him going. Absolutely.
And that's what I think the sentiment was. We talked about it a little bit. We said a couple episodes ago, it's like Jaxson Dart is kind of the last straw, it feels like. I mean, he's not living up to the quarterback guru everyone thought he was. Maybe it was more the fact that Josh Allen is just had more to say than Brian Daboll. And I've loved Brian Daboll. I tried my best to be a fan from afar, but it's
Yeah.
He's given me not a lot to hold on to anymore at this point. But hey, offense looks better, and maybe it just was a fact that Russell Wilson, we knew that was never going to be it per se. And Dart's just got more that he can offer to that offense, and maybe it allows things to open up a little bit. I don't know, but we'll see. Well, how about this? Let's stick on the offensive side of the football. What do you see as the potential for the rest of the season with Dart minus Nabers, and especially like can Cam Scatterbo be like the guy at running back replacing Saquon now?
So the main feel is like we can't have good things. As soon as we get Jaxson Dart starting, then Malik Neighbors goes down. My question is this: like, who's going to be the guy that steps up? A lot of Giants fans, as soon as Neighbors goes down, they want to trade for Olave. They want to trade for T. Higgins. First of all, we don't have the money to try to trade for any of these guys. And then also, we're talking about draft capital. We're still trying to rebuild this team as well. So for me, I think a lot of it falls on Jaxson Dart and also falls on the offensive coordinator. We got issues in the red zone. We got issues with route concepts in the red zone. So I think if they can dig a little bit deeper into their bag, Kafka and both Brian Daboll, and we saw it last week. They did what Jaxson Dart does well, and that's use his legs, but also take a couple of shots. I think this week, hopefully, they pass a little bit more. When it comes to Cam Scatterbo, I fear for him sometimes, man. He is absolutely reckless, but I also love it at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
But with Tyrone Tracy being out, I want him to be a little bit less reckless, but also that's just his genetic makeup. He wants to run through walls. That's his style. I think that leaning on the run and also getting the tight ends involved is where we can actually get some things done, because outside of a running game, quarterback's best friend is a tight end, and we got Theo Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He got in the end zone last week, so hopefully, that's where it is. And like again, it all falls on Jaxson Dart, but also if the defense steps up, it makes it a little bit lighter of a load for Jaxson Dart as well.
Yeah, and look, it's so hard to not cheer for Cam Scatterbo. Like, as an NFL fan, just everyone loves that type of play. Like, he's a dude that would have just been amazing, like the early 2000s, like that Mike Allstott era, just run it through your face. Cam Scatterbo would have been a star back in the.
He's a throwback running back for sure.
I love it. I mean, the Giants, the thing with the Giants, defense, Brian Burns having a great year. He's got a sack in every single game this season. He was another guy I was considering for possible defensive player of the year. His numbers are nice. But that defense seems to be, a lot of expectations for that front. They seem to be kind of figuring out, the run defense got to figure it out still. But the Giants' schedule isn't exactly easy the rest of this season, which is it's going to be tough on Dart. It's going to be tough on Daboll. for you as a Giants fan, first, I guess, like, what does kind of good look like the rest of the season? And can that defense be good enough to really help lead this team maybe to a wild card? Maybe.
Yeah, the one thing with the defense, because a lot of people say, the defense finally came alive, last week. And it's true in a sense because the front four finally got pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of Giants fans, we question the defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen,
Mm-hmm.
how he was playing guys, defensive alignment. He's lining up Dexter Lawrence at the 3 technique, and then you saw last week. The alignments were a little bit different. Instead of having Abdul Carter lined up on the inside, he swapped Kayvon Thibodeau in the inside, who has a little bit more mass than Abdul Carter. And you saw that success when we did have that 4-man front, that hybrid front. Having some issues on the back end as well, with the addition of Javon Holland, paid him big money.
Yep, he's nice.
Paulson Adebo paid him big money too. Paulson Adebo has made more plays than Javon Holland. But I think if we can keep things simple, like last week we kept it simple, got pressure with 4, we didn't need to do a lot of stunts, and the secondary got a chance to sit back and just play ball, and we saw Drew Phillips be effective. Again, we saw a couple knockdowns from Paulson Adebo, but when I go back to Shane Bowen, it's like, is he okay with things being vanilla a little bit and allowing it to be that way instead of, okay, I want to be overreactive and stuff like that, because we've seen that in the past where, he overreacts. If a team is running the ball, he wants to stack the box, and then they throw it over our heads. He seems to be the type to overreact. So for me, I think if we can play with a lead, that's going to be the key. If we can put teams in obvious passing downs, that's when you can let that pass rush go. So I think everybody's leaning on everybody. Complimentary football at the end of the day, but. To answer your question though, because I went around the block a little bit.
That's fine.
I think before this game, I had our expectations between 6 to 9 wins, 9 being the high end, right?
Mm-hmm.
We already dropped the ball with the Dallas game. That should have been a W. But we got 1. So I think we have to win at least 6 for Daboll to save it, to have his job next year.
Yeah.
That sucks for us. 4th year into a regime, you should be contending in the 4th year of a regime. But I just think that's where we are right now. And depending on how Jaxson Dart looks too, but I'm curious to see what happens this week. But more importantly, I hate to say more importantly, but it's about that game after that against the Eagles. If Jaxson Dart can do something against those Eagles, then I might feel a little bit better about the rest of the season.
I mean, the Eagles aren't necessarily like getting a bunch of sacks either. Brian Burns has as many sacks as the Eagles as a team.
Yeah.
So it's like if he can just operate a little bit, and obviously, Andrew Thomas healthy again, and that offensive line kind of figuring things out should be very helpful for a young quarterback. And, just rely on the short stuff. Theo Johnson's nice. You got 2 running backs once Tracy's healthy who can get you both really good pass catchers. Just lean into it, find that identity. Maybe, I've always been a fan of Darius Slayton, and I don't understand why his stats and his line is always so inconsistent, because he seems to be pretty nice and for the most part reliable, but I'm with you. I don't see, Wan'Dale Robinson. He's got a lot of good moments. Slayton can do some nice things. They don't have any superstar, but I mean, like, look at what Drake May is doing over there in New England. There's definitely no superstar at this point. Think about Josh Allen. His best receiver is Khalil Shakir. There's no superstars. You can win without it. I mean, Jordan Love too, like having a good season with just spreading the ball around. So I think it's time for Brian Daboll to really, it's not up or shut up time, like you said.
Yeah, I think also too, man. It's a wide receiver buried on the depth chart right now, a rookie from 2023, and Jalen Hyatt.
We forget about him. Where's he been?
Exactly, and it's the majority of Giants fans have already given up on him.
Wow,
they either wanted him traded, they don't want him having a jersey on Sundays, and then this happens with Malik Nabers, and again, when everybody's looking for the trade and who we're going to sign. I'm like, no, man. Look at the guys on the roster. Look at Slayton. I'm a big fan of Slayton. Been a big fan of Slayton. He's been the most solid for the last 6 years. Again, it's not eye-popping yardage or touchdowns, stuff like that, but he has a particular skill set and he shows up in spots. Wan'Dale Robinson, again, gadget guy, showed that he can also help you downfield in that one game versus Dallas. We saw Russell Wilson, target him down the field. But again, Jalen Hyatt, I think Jalen Hyatt is the key. If you can actually get him involved, and that's another thing when it comes to this offense and the coordinators, they tend to give up on guys, and you can see it in the draft. So for example, just to explain myself a little bit, the first year they got there, they drafted Daniel Bellinger, right?
Yeah.
They drafted Daniel Bellinger, had a solid rookie season, right? Before and after the eye injury. The year after that, they went ahead and went and got Darren Waller, and they put Daniel Bellinger, into the back. And then the year after that, they went and traded Theo Johnson. I'm sorry, they went and drafted Theo Johnson. And then now you push him to the back again. And now you're sitting here with all these tight ends that you drafted this year. Thomas Fidone out of Nebraska, and he can't even get a jersey. So it's funny to me how you drafted these guys, mid-round picks, to say that, but you got to give these guys chances. When you look at the inefficiencies in the red zone, you're throwing the 5'8" Wan'Dale Robinson. I would much rather throw the 6'6" Theo Johnson, 6'5" Daniel Bellinger. And how about we get the rookie on the field, the Thomas Fidone, who's almost 6'7" himself with like a 7-foot wingspan. So where are your red zone threats? A lot of things that we need to clean up. I will say this too. It's about the chefs, man. I think we have the ingredients to be competitive. It's the guys cooking the meal. So the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach, those guys need to get it together and really coach to the strength of the team.
Yeah, and I think another guy that I feel like a lot of people are looking at is Bobby Okereke, the linebacker. He's got a lot of good. There's just kind of been inconsistent. And when you're playing behind a dominant front, and maybe it just could be the alignment, but the dominant front's supposed to make a middle linebacker's life very easy and excelling. And it seems like it's just not all there all the time with him. And I feel like if you can get him right a little bit, and Hyatt thing too, that's like a Christian Watson factor, just sitting there doing nothing. You let him do his thing, run straight. He commands safety attention. Then you got a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson you can just leverage over the middle, the short stuff, because you got to take a safety with Jalen Hyatt. Even if you're not going to, Christian Watson, his impact goes far beyond the stat line. His impact it's exactly what you can do with Jalen Hyatt. And that's a second round. That's a second round pick, is it not? Like 2 years ago, like you said.
Third round. He was a third round pick. But we did trade up to get him. We gave up a pick for him. We moved up like 20 spots to get him.
I didn't even think about it because I forgot about Bellinger too. Because he was kind of nice for a second. Like you're that's a good point. These guys just tend to disappear, but there's like no superstar besides Nabers that's like a reason for it. But all right. So I guess if you had to get rid of Daboll, I mean, do you have an idea? Do you got your eye on anyone? Just out of curiosity.
I got I want to go old school Giants football. I want to go to the defensive side. Actually the team that we just beat, the Chargers. I like their defensive coordinator, Mentor.
Oh yeah.
I like him. But I wish that we can settle the differences and get the lawsuit settled with Brian Flores, because I was a big Brian Flores fan before we got Brian Daboll. And they let it be known too when we hired Brian Daboll, there was a split in the building. John Mara actually wanted Brian Flores, but Joe Shane was Brian Daboll's guy, and Brian Daboll got the job. But hopefully we can fix that. But again, I'm gonna let this thing play out.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what I'm seeing with Jaxson Dart right now. And again, Daboll's future is in the hands of Jaxson Dart.
That is very true. And hey, as long as y'all stay away from my Packers D coordinator Jeff Hafley, I'm gonna be happy. Y'all keep your paws.
That's another one.
Y'all keep your paws off him.
One.
Keep your damn paws off him, please.
That's another one. Yeah.
All right,
but I do want to go defensively though.
Okay. All right. Do you feel good about an offensive coordinator then? Because I mean, if you're going defensive coordinator, you better have an elite OC running that offense then.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I was just thinking about some of the connections that Brian Flores might have. And obviously, Mike McDaniel's awful head coach
Yeah.
For the Miami Dolphins. But, I wouldn't mind him as an OC. Maybe you can try to get Cliff Kingsbury away from the Commanders, but I don't know if that happens. It just depends on, playing to the strengths or coaching to the strengths of Jaxson Dart, which Brian Daboll, to me, please, Brian Daboll, do not treat Jaxson Dart like Josh Allen, even though he has the legs to run. He's not built, doesn't have the same frame as Josh Allen. I don't want to see QB sweeps and stuff like that. Maybe a couple, peppered in, but please not. Don't run him heavy. That's it.
Keep him alive. All right. I mean, that's fair. Maybe we'll see that window crack open for the Giants, rest of the season. But all right, Big Dash, thank you for coming on. Why don't you let the people know where they can find you, find your own show, and find you on socials?
No, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for the invite. Thank you for having me on the show. It's very simple. It's going to be Big Dash Knows all social media platforms. That's where you can find me. I do live shows on Wednesday, and also I do the Late Night Giants Talk on Saturdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. So I usually run that show about 2 hours. So Late Night Giants Talk, definitely you can find me there.
Good stuff, man. Well, appreciate you coming on, talking ball with us, and being part of this fan of all sports coverage. Good to get folks like yourself in the know for us. So that was very helpful hearing your Giants knowledge. So thank you for coming on. Hoping to talk about you soon, and best of luck to those Giants figuring their way out over there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.